All right, guys, welcome back to On the Block, May 21st. Toronto Raptors down 0-2 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. No real surprise there, coming back tonight for the home game. We want to talk about a little bit of how they've done so far and also previewing this game a little bit. They haven't done much right yet. There's not really much of game time. But going into today, what do you guys think that the main... What's Dwayne Casey writing on the chalkboard today?
Well, for one thing, I think Kyle's got to play a whole heck of a lot better. I think Dwayne is expecting that. But you know, what can you really say? I think most of us expected this. I think the Raptors kind of plateaued when they reached the Eastern Conference Final, and Cleveland's playing their best ball. They haven't been able to guard LeBron James. They had a decent first half in game two, but to me, again, it all has to do with how the Raptors are just not playing all that well. If you look at Kyle, I mean, what he did in game two when they were just down 4 was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen that before in watching basketball in my life, where a guy goes to the locker room to decompress because he's not playing well. What does that even mean? I've never. I remember Scottie Pippen needed some oxygen one time when he was playing for the Bulls or something, but I've never seen someone just leave the bench because he needed some time. It's like he went out for a bogey, like he went out for a smoke during the game. That's pretty much what it was. He went to go relax for a little bit.
But the worst part too was the answer he gave, like decompress. Why not say, like I said in the group, or say I had to get my ankle retaped, or this had doing something that doesn't embarrass you.
It made the team exactly. It made the team even look more like a laughing stock. The American media is already writing the Raptors off. They've been writing them off since the series got set, and it's giving them more fuel to the fire. Basically, making Toronto seem like even more of a laughing stock with DeRozan and Lowry, pretty much as the butt of a lot of jokes.
Well, this continues what I've been saying this whole time. I don't think this isn't good basketball. What's happening is not fun. Everyone that I know watches the game. They've been turning it off by third quarter, and not even watching this by half. Yeah, so I don't even think they should have been there. The way that they're playing, the only game 3 years. The only game they played good to me was that Game 7 against Miami. They played like beautifully. Other than that, everything has been a squeak, a fluke. I think they should have lost to the Pacers, so I'm not going to get into all that again. But Lowry saying that is bad. It's humiliating. It just adds to what's been happening.
And Lowry keeps saying, I'm going to get better. I read that quote. He said, I need to get better. I will be better on Saturday. I don't know how he can get better, and I don't know. Like, they're saying all the right things. I don't know what him or DeMar can say other than, I'm going to be better next game. We're going to adjust. They keep saying it, but nothing's really happening. So what do you do?
But realistically, how can he play much worse than how he played in game
exactly.
2?
His number is 1 for 15 from 3 in this series. 1 for 15. 8 for 28. At what point do you stop those?
And here's the thing: while game 1 was an absolute rout where the Cavaliers just ran all over them, and the game was
after that 7-0 run starts the game.
Game 2 had absolutely a chance to be in the game. They had a lot of open looks. They're just not hitting shots. Terrence Ross had a decent game. DeMar Carroll had an off game. A lot of the shooters aren't hitting their shots, and when you don't have the inside presence of Valanciunas. I still don't know when he's going to be back from that sprain. You just don't if you're not hitting your shots, you're not going to win this series based on the fact that the Cavaliers are playing such high quality basketball at the end of the day. To me, we mentioned it before the show. Does this Raptors team, the way it's currently played, even if Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were to pull a 2015 and get injured and be out for the rest of the series, LeBron still probably beats them in the series by himself, along with the other guys they have, just like he did against Golden State last year in the finals. They just don't have enough. They've plateaued, and to me, it's a simple fact of the matter. And I mentioned this earlier on in the year. This Raptors team, as currently formed, is not going to win anything. It's not.
In their defense, though, the other, whatever it is, 13 teams in the East also don't have a shot. Really.
Fair enough, right? and I'll give you that. But that's the thing where, to me, I haven't been mad with the 2 losses because them getting to the Eastern Conference Final, to me, was exactly...
It was their NBA Final.
NBA Final. And I've been I'm not expecting much from them. And then this is pretty much what's been happening at the end of the day.
See, again, that's like the Olympics when we're happy when we get a bronze medal, when we should be looking for gold. It's like, I don't understand. It's like... When Cleveland played, who did they play first round again?
Cleveland played.
Okay, so they played good every game.
Okay, exactly. So they didn't blow out Detroit by 20 every game, and they didn't blow out second round. Sorry,
Atlanta.
They didn't blow out Atlanta every game. So why is it that Toronto?
They did a bit Atlanta. Atlanta with some beatings. Remember, I think we were both at the gym that time, and They broke the record for threes in the playoff.
That one game. But the games before they weren't beating them by 20.
No,
it was
this
that
game
one game
4,
where
I think, was a one possession game.
But they were hot. What do you do about it? No one's blaming the Raptors. But 2 games in a row, and people, I don't think anybody thinks they're not going to get blown up by 20 again. So what I'm saying is that why is it that this team, I don't think it's the roster. I tell you guys, I like the roster. I think from top to bottom they have good. It's just the way that they play. I don't like the way they play. Even in game 1, I was watching it with someone I can't remember, and DeRozan was, I think, 5 for 5 at one point or something, and they were all kind of, they were on a roll. They were beating them the very first game 1 against Cleveland. Yeah. And I'm watching them, and I remember, I think it was even, the other Joe was getting excited, and I'm like, I don't like what's happening here. Yeah, exactly. Very unsustainable. So they're even when they're hitting shots, I'm not liking the shots they're taking, and I'm just waiting for them to get cold.
Exactly. That's the thing. When you're taking all those tough shots 18 feet away, and you got a hand in your face, whatever. Sure, like you said, it's a good roll. You start at 7-0, everybody's like, we got a shot. Then you're like, okay, this can't last forever.
Yeah. Take good shots.
I mean, if you look at the games, like DeMar Carroll was pretty much trying to stop LeBron. He couldn't do it, and then
that dunk baseline was ridiculous.
Exactly, and what are you gonna do? To me, I'll argue against what you were saying about the Detroit and Atlanta, because I think Cleveland's a team where once it gets in rhythm and once they develop more confidence, they're harder to play against. So the Detroit series, when the playoffs just started off, it was more of a grind, and they were still getting into in playoff mode. Now that they've won so many games in a row, they're supremely confident, and now everything's coming off like it's nothing.
Detroit was fearless, though, I think, in that series.
It's easy to say that. I know what you're saying, and that makes sense. But it's easy to say that. But I'm just looking at it. If Miami would have won, I don't think they would have beaten them 2 games in a row by 27 points. I know maybe they'll sweep them same way they might sweep Toronto. But what I'm saying is that it's just the way the way I'm watching them play. It wouldn't have been like that. And I'm wondering. I don't know what is happening. Like, I don't know why. You see Carroll, and anybody who watches it, my mom who barely just watches it because but that's what's happening in the city, can see that Carroll looks like a child compared to LeBron. So why don't you put a big guy like James Johnson up to try to guard him, and then get some kind of, because you're supposed to be a defense guy, and get some kind of this is what they brought me in for because you did good against him in Atlanta last year. Yeah. That doesn't mean you can guard LeBron. And he did do very well, but LeBron wasn't posting him up every 2 seconds like that. But they had good help defenders. They had guys there waiting. Millsap coming. So what I'm saying is that it's the game plan and the shots they're taking, and then our leader and all-star needs to decompress. Like it's just things
not
that
a good look.
It's not.
And to go back on the decompression point, and I think that they made a pretty good point of this on PTI. Again, they went off on him about that. The thing with if you look at the line again, I mentioned this to Joe before the show. If you look at the teams that are left, you pick Kyle and DeMar as the 9th, 10th best players that are left in the NBA playoffs right now. And to me, you're not going to win anything. You look at it, the 3 Golden State guys are all better than they are. The 3 Cleveland guys are all better than they are. And then you got Westbrook and Durant on OKC. And you can probably make some arguments that some other guys might be in the thing. You're not going to win anything. So, to me, do you continue with this squad made of guys that are maybe win a round or 2 in the playoffs? Sure, I guess you can. I would rather they just start from scratch and just try to build through the draft, try to get some Golden State type players and get some luck. Obviously, Klay Thompson wasn't our top pick. Curry wasn't a top pick. Draymond Green wasn't a top pick. You got to get some luck, definitely. But you definitely can't win with those 2 leading the team. You can make decent conference final but then again, next year Boston, your Boston team's going to be much better. Everyone's going to be better. It's not a guarantee they'll make it back. I think Miami would have given them more difficulties if Bosh could have played. To me, it's just that this team isn't really going to go. And that's why, again, like I said, I've been calm and watching the games because I'm not expecting them to do much against Cleveland.
But there is a way.
Especially without Valanciunas, before I cut you off. Yeah. Without Valanciunas inside, to me, with Biyombo, has been doing his best. But that, to me, was where Cleveland was going to have problems because they had no one to really match Valanciunas inside because they don't play Mozgov very, very much. Tristan Thompson is a big guy.
He's a rebounder.
He's a rebounder, but he's not. But again, he's outsized by Valanciunas. Without Valanciunas, especially in this series, their chances went down about 50%.
Yeah, but even with. I understand what you guys are saying with the roster, but there's other ways besides just trying to build. Obviously you want a championship team, right? But a team can get better. For example, when OKC made the finals and they had Harden and they had that roster, to me that roster was better than the roster they have now. But I think that roster then, the roster they have right now, like especially after you beat up on this amazing San Antonio team, the way that they're playing, maybe like there's ways to improve. Like maybe they have to do something, or maybe it could be coaching. I don't always blame coaching, but for them to improve, it doesn't always have to be blowing up, because when you blow up or you get other guys, that doesn't work. Now you're in a constant thing and you're going downward. So there's a way to still improve. Like for example, they bring up Casey's record, they always improve. So he must be doing something for them to improve. Like obviously they picked up
Carroll getting worse.
Yeah.
The East. Well, I would argue that the East actually got better this year compared to the last couple
and
of years.
they beat a lot of Western teams.
But
So
the bottom
yes,
teams, especially playing teams like Philly and Brooklyn in their division that many times.
The thing, if you look at the NBA champions over the last, how many number of years, you look at those teams, the only one that really sticks out where, again, it was that Dallas team where they had Dirk. They didn't really have a ton else, but everything else has always been LeBron-led teams with superstar players, and the Raptors don't have that. They have, you don't like to call them all-stars. They have been all-stars. You kind of call them all-stars, but they're low-level all-stars. And I don't think you win anything with. I would rather, in 2 years' time, I would rather have the Minnesota Timberwolves roster than the Raptors.
Yeah, that's
easily.
But look at
And they might have championship potential, because you never know what could happen with the Golden State team.
And now they're going to have another top 5 pick.
Exactly.
I want to get to some of these points. Game 1, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, both two guys that get to the line. DeMar was second in the league behind James Harden in free throw attempts. 0 free throw attempts combined. The first time in their existence of playing together with the Raptors that's happened. If you want to stop Cleveland, in my opinion, your best shot, LeBron's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to get assists, he's going to score, do whatever you want. You need to run the other guys off the three-point line, especially the big guys. When you have Channing Frye and Kevin Love, guys who can't put the ball on the deck, you want to run out of them and force them to dribble. They haven't really done that. So when you're staying at home and all these guys, and you're kind of like, what they did in game 1 was they said, we're going to protect the three-point line, and then they gave up dunks and layups the whole game. So then game 2, they said, okay, now we're going to try and stay a little bit back, try and take away those dunks. They took away some dunks, and it was a three-point show a bit. Even J.R. Smith's playing some of the best defense of his life, by the way.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, you got to give credit where credit's due. Like, Cleveland is playing well on offense, defense, and the Raptors really aren't doing anything well. Another thing I want to talk about, which one of my friends raised, and it's a great point. The Raptors, during the regular season, why they won so many games, they play at such a high level all the time. Dwayne Casey always preaches, we have to, pound the rock, all those cliches. And the other teams, really, they're coasting through. Like you said, teams come in here on the weekend, they're partying, maybe not all the time, but they're partying. And the Raptors are go, 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 while the other teams are, like going through the motions. The Raptors don't have another level to go to in these playoffs. We saw Indiana go to another level. We saw Miami even go to another level with that old team. All these teams are getting better, and the Raptors don't have that other level. And the style of play is, like you said a bunch of times, you can't win shooting mid-range jumpers, not getting to the free throw line, and not shooting threes. And the Valanciunas thing, it's not even just him not being there, which is a huge thing in itself. When he's down there, down low, when you play with a big man that can score, he's going to attract help from his defenders. And even when you get in, you get that help, you can kick it over 3 higher percentage shots. They don't have any of that. And what happened is you got Patrick Patterson, who's essentially their 6th man scoring off the bench, forced into the starting lineup where the only thing he can do really is score and defend on a pick and roll. He's not a scorer, so he took him out of his rhythm. Corey Joseph playing some of the worst basketball we've seen him play. And everything is just a domino effect. Nothing's really clicked. So there's a lot of issues
Are you
here.
saying domino from the Valanciunas?
From the Valanciunas thing, putting other guys starting lineup, taking away their strength was their bench, right? Now their bench is not as.
See that Valanciunas part I completely don't agree with, because I don't. When Grizzlies lost Marc Gasol, they still competed. Yes, you could say if he was there, what they could have done. They got swept, but they competed, and everyone was proud of the way that they played. Like when LeBron didn't have love and thing, he was still able to win a game. Yes, he's a superstar.
He was a capable 3-point shooter.
No, but he was missing 2 of his superstars. I mean, it was all stars if you want to call it. Well, Kyrie's a superstar, but you know what I mean?
But the point is, you still have like J.R. Smith, Shumpert. Who do they have? Dellavedova, guys that are hitting threes that'll keep you in the game.
But
Raptors don't have that.
But we have a good big man. He may not be scoring 20 a game. Yeah.
He's good defensively, but he's not doing anything for you on offense.
Offensively, he's not doing much.
No, he's not doing much.
That's his open dunk.
No, yeah, right. But Valanciunas wasn't going to average 20 points a game in this series.
But if he didn't even give you 14, which is below his playoff average.
14 and some defense.
So you think if he was there, they wouldn't be losing by 20?
I personally think
they're not losing by 20.
I personally think that LeBron wouldn't. Like, the thing is, like he mentioned Kevin Love, for example. When Kevin Love goes out to the outside, Bismack has to follow him quite a bit, and it's made a lot more space in terms of what guys can do, or Patrick Patterson or whoever ends up guarding him. LeBron with a big man wouldn't be getting that as easy drives as he's getting because Valanciunas, I think, again, size-wise, he's bigger than Biz. He'd make life a lot more hard.
No,
but he can. But as a rim protector, with the size-wise intimidation factor might be a little bit. Even Miami mentioned the same thing where they thought it was a lot easier in terms of driving in on him. Even Waze even said it was a lot easier driving in based on the fact that big Valanciunas wasn't in there, and it does make a big difference, especially when you get like a big beast like LeBron.
You're right. But even Golden State when they lost Curry, that the way he shoots and the way that he plays opens up things for everybody. When he was gone, they were still winning. We can't use.
But how do you beat Golden State? And what's everyone been saying? How you beat Golden State? You go big.
Okay.
Because Golden State is a team. They want to go small, and if they're not shooting well, you can beat them on the inside because they don't really play with a lot of size. Bogut sometimes, Spate sometimes. They don't go with a lot of size.
So all the people I just said who were missing, where they still competed, Valanciunas is more important to the team than all those players.
Which players?
Last year Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Last year Cleveland. And
but that's
Marc
the thing.
Gasol when they had to play the Spurs, they need a big man. Memphis wasn't terrible in the playoffs. They lost every game, but he wasn't close. They didn't get killed in any of the games.
Yeah,
they were never really.
They lost like 13 of the last 15. They were like without Conley and without Gasol.
I'm sorry, I forgot about Conley by the way. But they didn't have both of them, and they were playing the Spurs, and they still did better than what. Like you can still think that they could have squeaked the game. You never thought they were going to win.
They competed hard.
Yeah. Does Toronto look like they're going to win a game?
But here's the thing, and I also go back. The Raptors made life hard on themselves based on the fact that they took the last two series in 7. The Cavaliers were very well rested. They finished off early, and that does, say something because fatigue does get to you, especially when you're only going with an 8-9 man rotation. Sometimes the way that Case has been playing. No, it's not an excuse, but at the end of the day, but that's what they caused. They caused their own problems though, because they should have finished the Pacers off earlier, or probably should have lost that. Realistically, they should have finished them off on paper. And Miami, they probably should have beaten earlier too. But again, they made life hard themselves, and you could see it in Game 1. Game 1, they had no energy. They were done in Game 1.
And everybody came in. They said, maybe the Raptors will play to their advantage because Cleveland's coming off, and the Raptors are clicking because they've been playing well. It's been the total opposite.
Those excuses is why we're not going to get better because now we're thinking, well, if Valanciunas was there, and now you're going to play the same basketball. Valanciunas isn't the issue; it's the shot selection and the way you guys are playing. For example, they didn't get to the free throw line, right?
Nope.
So the way that I've watched Raptors play in the season and even in past times, now it doesn't mean you go and look for fouls. It just means you be more aggressive and you try to force the ref's hand, but you still go and try to attack the rim. Okay. You don't go and look for fouls and do bad shots.
In theory, that makes a lot of sense. But like a coach can only do a coach can't play an up-tempo style with a team like the Miami Heat in theory because they're old. So based on your personnel that you have, you're talking about getting to the free throw line, which is great. It's a great story.
You want to,
the Raptors aren't doing much, so you say get the free throw line, which is true. They have to because they're not hitting it. They don't even get to the line.
Well, I don't care if they go, but you said that they didn't go, which is a problem. So I'm saying, okay,
it is a problem.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm but I'm not saying that. Okay, keep going.
It's a big part. Anyways, point is, if you can't hit a 3-point shot, whether it be in a men's league game or in the NBA, if you're not hitting a 3-point shot, what are you going to do? Give everybody space, and you're going to play at home. So if you're playing 5 guys either in the paint or a foot out of the paint, where you drive? You're driving into bodies, you're getting offensive fouls, you're throwing up 15-foot jump shots like he does. Mm-hmm. So point is, if you have nobody to space the floor, you have nowhere to drive to the paint because guys are all sitting back on you. Mm-hmm. So the Raptors need 3-point shooting. They don't have any really.
You see, but the problem is
they're not getting it.
There's a gray area because they always say that if a shooter isn't hitting his shot, it says the best thing to do is get to the free throw line where you can hit some shots and you feel it and then they'll start shooting. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that when you drive and kick, instead of staying out the free throw line, you can still take a mid-range shot and try to get some swishes, and then you can kick out. You're not supposed to stay out or drive right there for the wing. There's a middle ground, and the only person that seems like they want to shoot mid-ranges is DeRozan, but everyone else is either a big-time 3 or a full attack, and there's a gray area there.
Nobody can even get to the net. Sorry, on their who gets to the line on the team other than DeMar or maybe Kyle? That's it.
The one thing that drives me crazy about the shot selection is that a lot, like whether it's DeRozan or Lowry or whoever it is, they take a lot of like pull-up shots where there's absolutely like no rebounding help whatsoever. So they come in, they take the shot. If it goes in, great. If it doesn't, there's no chance of getting that rebound because there's nobody under the basket.
They're all lined up.
They all do that. But they all, well, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't even give, like, for example, they don't even give Biz the amount of time to get set because a lot of the shots they take
Early in the shot clock.
it's sometimes early in the shot clock. The man's not even under the basket, and they're just shooting. And DeRozan, I was more like he's been hitting more recently. But early on when he was struggling, he was doing a lot of that, and that's how he was killing the team because it was in and out and no offensive rebound opportunities whatsoever.
So you think that maybe they should put some more size in the
They need some or at the end of the day have more of a rebounding presence in there to get second chance opportunities because not all shots are going to go in obviously, and they're taking too many one and dones. That's to me is their problem. If they're going in great,
a rebounding battle too.
Exactly, and to me like. Again, Patrick Patterson is a decent rebounder. Biz is a great rebounder. But again, Biz is to me is still overmatched against guys like LeBron. And when he's matched up against Kevin or whoever else they have out there, it's taken away from his game. Like Bismack hasn't done much in the first two games. Again, there really hasn't been a lot that I've seen him do offensively.
I want to say the first game he might have gone like 5 for 5. He had like 10 and 10 or something. And they were all open dunks because Cleveland let him have it. Right?
At the end of the day, but to me, again, it's Kyle's still a key factor. Will Kyle have a better game today?
He can't have a worse
day. And they're at home. They won't get blown up by 20 today. They won't do it. They won't.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. If, as a basketball player, and I'm watching them, even Scola, if you say get bigger, he's our big man, Patterson, a power forward, okay. When DeRozan is on the far side and he turns his back dribbling, common sense tells you he's taking it. I'm watching the opposite guys, even Scola and Patterson, on the opposite side, on the side in the corner, waiting for a pass that's not coming, instead of coming in thinking he's going to take it. And you're leaving Biz there with Thompson, who's a great defender, and 5 people jumping over his back. I see 3 people surround and him trying to rebound over 3 people by himself all game.
Who was that?
Biz. By himself.
And that's because Skola's not a great rebounder. Scola to me is on the decline. He's probably got another 1, maybe 2 years left in the league at best. And the Raptors bench, what can you say?
Just top
I was expecting more from Norman Powell in the playoffs. He really hasn't been given the opportunity and really hasn't delivered. I was expecting other things from, again, James Johnson was barely played. Terrence Ross has some great shooting games, and then he makes a lot of brain farts that Casey can't trust him out there. Again, there's the parts when the 2 big guys. Again, what saved them in the first series is that Valanciunas played great because the other 2 didn't do much. When Valanciunas isn't there, and when one of the other 2 isn't playing great, they're not winning games. They have no shot. Valanciunas saved them in the first series when they finally they started heating up in the later parts. Valanciunas was the key thing. Without him there, when the other 2 struggles, like Kyle's been struggling, they're done. Absolutely done.
Valanciunas is a good player, and he's not a bad defender. Like when everyone says Biyombo's, it's not like that. Like Valanciunas can play some kind of defense. He's not better than Biyombo, but if Biyombo got hurt and Valanciunas can't play a whole entire game, if he were to be gone, everyone would be saying, well, we need Biyombo as a presence with Valanciunas now. But every player is needed on a basketball team, especially the backup player. So yes, he's important, and yes, whatever. But the shots that they're taking and the way that they're playing is just it wouldn't change the way that they're getting killed.
See, but I would argue with you that Valanciunas in the playoffs before he got hurt was having a pure revelation. This was looking like it was going to be his coming out party, where he was going to get to that plateau where when he was taken so high in the draft that everyone thought he was going to reach this kind of level where he was going to become maybe a 16-10 player or whatever. And that's the way he was playing in the playoffs. And I don't know if Jay would agree with that or not, but
I totally agree with that. The only thing that bothered me and bothered a lot of analysts too was he was going off, shooting a high percentage, but the Raptors would still look him off. They wouldn't give him the ball still. He'd get the ball on, he'd get a couple post-ups, and like you said, remember, you don't want to, if someone's hot, you don't go away from them. You slowly give them shots, you try and help everybody else. They pretty much went away from him, and everybody's like, Mahimi can't really guard him, so why are you stopping to give him the ball? And then the Miami series happened, and he got hurt pretty early before they really established him. And getting back to your comment about if one of them went down, that's the only reason why I feel like the Raptors would won against the Heat. They had more depth. When Hassan Whiteside and JV both went down, Bismack's and up, who do you have? Haslam or Josh McRoberts, those guys.
Mark Stoudemire.
Mark Stoudemire, who played 5 minutes, then you didn't see him again. But the Raptors, I wanted to say too, the Raptors can't win games in the hundreds against this Cleveland team. They don't have the scoring. They did in the regular season because everybody doesn't really care about guarding guys, but in the playoffs when you're running guys, you're not going to be able to put up that many points. So getting back to your point of Kyle taking these dumb shots deep behind the line, all these shots he's taking early in the shot clock with no rebounders, they're essentially turnovers. And they dig your team a bigger hole. So all of a sudden they're coming down and you miss that long shot, and then there's an outlet pass from Love to Shumpert or whoever for a layup. couple times, and it's like, fuck, like that's like a 9-0 run or a 10-0 run, and then you're like, okay, now we're in panic mode, we're going to try and jack up threes, DeMar's going to be all confused and get, okay, I'm going to throw up this 18-footer because that's the only reason I can help this team, which it's not, like you said. You get a post of a guy's on, you kick it to Patterson in the corner. Do it to something.
Yeah,
They shoot themselves.
Patterson's been struggling too, right? And that's another big thing. A lot of those guys aren't shooting the ball very well. And to go back to that point on JV, why he didn't get the ball is because I think the Raptors are so centric based on DeRozan and Lowry, where if they're cold, they don't know what to do. Like DeMar, love him or hate him, he jacks up shots whether he's playing well or he's not playing well. And again, it could be a huge detriment or a huge asset, depending on how he's playing, because he'll jack up 30 shots even if he's hitting only 8 of them. And that's why Valanciunas probably should get a lot more touches. But DeMar is a shoot first kind of guy. His assists, if you look at his stats, his assist things aren't that great. He doesn't pass the ball. Lowry hasn't had a great game in this series. He's more turnovers than assists. And like DeMar doesn't pass the ball. To me, and I don't want to again slight on Kobe Bryant. He's a wannabe Kobe Bryant at this point. And he might go to LA in the offseason, and again, he'll jack up 30, 40 shots there too, I guess. But he's a low-level Kobe Bryant.
He needs to realize what he is too, I feel, because like you said, he's not getting assists when he can. It's pretty simple. You take a couple of jump shots, guys are on you. You kick it out to someone for a 3, or maybe Biz is down there because the guy's helping, he has a dunk. He doesn't even look. It's like he has tunnel vision when he gets the ball down low. We said he doesn't get assists. He very rarely rebounds. We all know he doesn't play really any defense. So he's not scoring, which, to be honest, in this class, how many good games has he had scoring? 2 out of 14? Well, no, not 14. It's been, 16 games now. He's had 2 or 3, at least regular season average games.
Yeah.
He's been more detrimental. That's sad to say, but he's hurt the team and he's helped them.
And that's why I say, to me, if he goes in the offseason, if Kyle's gone after next season, to me, that they have to start a fresh start and get a future plan, because I don't think they're winning anything with these guys. And if you're happy making the Eastern Conference semis or the Eastern Conference finals there every year for the next 2 or 3 years, maybe. I still think your Boston team's going to give them even a run for the division next year.
They have to sign someone, but there's...
they already have a top 3 pick, too. They might deal that.
Space.
And they got cap space. Again, you either think of going for the championship or just staying at an equilibrium where you're all right being middle of the pack to high of the pack. But you're not gonna beat any of these teams. Whether it's Cleveland, Golden State, and Oklahoma, the Raptors wouldn't beat any of these teams. No way.
Okay, so I just want to just to defend the way I've been attacking the Raptors for a second, is that the way that they play all the 3 years, and when we always talk about the Raptors, I'm not saying, it's just when I watch them play constantly, we're making all these theories, and all these other TV shows and all these analysts are going to say all their reasons why they're playing bad, playing good, what they should do. But it sounds to me, well, except for the Valanciunas injury, but it sounds to me everything that we're saying is just the way that they're I've been saying is that they're not playing right basketball. If you have a big guy who has a mismatch, the right basketball would be to get him the ball. That's common sense. It's not what they're doing that game or what. If you're not feeling it, what am I doing to help my team? If Patterson's not hitting a 3, let me try to go inside. I watched him in the season. I've never seen him go offensive rebound the way I've seen him this year and whatever. And he hasn't done that once in the playoffs. They're all because people outside of this everything. People think that they've shut me up about the Raptors because they passed the first round, but they didn't, because I don't think they should have passed there. And yes, they're bringing up injuries, but they lost Whiteside and they didn't have Bosch Manley. If they had them, they wouldn't have passed, but they didn't make no excuses. It was still competitive, except for that last game. The Raptors just killed them because they played like poets. But other than that, they still competed. So what I'm saying is that the way that the Raptors have been playing, it's not this game Lowry's cold and next game he has 30 and he's back. But it shouldn't be an up and down. They all should be playing, taking proper shots, and if you lose, you lose. Celtics got killed in their last game when they got eliminated, but they played right, but they couldn't hit anything. But the way that they play has been from the game 1 of the season straight into the playoffs. And when I watch the Raptors every single year, I don't think it's a personnel issue, just like the Lakers when they had Kobe and Shaq and stuff. They were losing. They couldn't beat Utah. They couldn't beat Seattle. And then Phil Jackson came. They didn't switch up the roster, but he brought a triangle and he did certain things, and they started beating everybody. But they still had the same personnel. But that same personnel who had 30 points from Shaq and 28 from Kobe couldn't beat Utah, who were old, like Malone and these guys who were older. Couldn't beat them. Couldn't beat Seattle, who only had Gary Payton and thing at the time. They couldn't beat anybody.
So are you telling me that you think that with proper coaching, like
I'm not saying get rid of Casey. I'm not saying get rid of Casey. What I'm saying is that if
I'm just saying that you think with a good coach, this team could like win the championship.
No, not win the championship. I'm saying that
better basketball.
With better coaching, there would be no. I wouldn't be able to be dissing them and laughing at them. People wouldn't be scared, and we wouldn't have interviews where you guys are saying they're going to lose, and they wouldn't be losing by 20 points in 2 straight games. If they lose, they lose. If they get swept, they get swept. But the way that you're playing, you'd be like, man, this team's better. But that's not saying.
But here's the thing: there's plateaus on how you can play better, and in terms like you mentioned Kobe and Shaq. You're right. They had their struggles with the same personnel, but those guys are at a completely different talent level than the ones that we have here. Like you can get maybe 30, and the talent level is just not. They're not gonna like Kyle's reached his plateau. Kyle's been an all-star the last couple of years. He's not going to get much better than he is now. He is what he is.
No, but
Same with DeMar.
No, but Kobe's and Shaq's skill level was better than the people they were losing to, is what I'm saying.
Oh, so you're saying they were playing
down to the opposition.
No, I'm just saying because they weren't playing right and the way that they were acting selfish with each other kind of thing. Almost like they weren't winning. So their skill was better than the teams that they couldn't beat. So what I'm saying is all because teams have better superstars in the that doesn't mean we should be losing by 20 and having me promising every year they're going to lose first round and them losing to Brooklyn and losing to Washington, who's nobody. Like these things shouldn't be happening. They have a good personnel.
Yeah, but you said that Casey's that you like Casey as a coach. So then that's double negative.
I don't want to be saying let's get rid of Casey. They have improved, but they're just not doing something right. Maybe they're sucking up to the superstars too much. I don't know, but Lowry is not doing his job. All the points that you guys made about the assists and the way that they shoot and they don't know what they're doing and they'll shoot 30 anyways. I agree with what you're saying. That's what I've been saying when I didn't believe that they're all-stars and you guys said they were. So now we're all on the same page. But what I'm saying is that because they can still change some habits. Can you do something to adjust?
I think so, yeah.
Here's the thing, do the switcheroo. If you put Westbrook and Durant on the Raptors team, they never would have gotten blown up by 20 to the Cleveland, and people would actually be thinking that they might actually have a chance of making it to the finals with the rest of the personnel. Just switch them both. Yeah, OKC would be getting killed by Golden State, and the Raptors, even with Valanciunas injured, I would say with those two and the rest of they'd still be playing much better. Yeah, it's personnel. Exactly, the personnel's better, and realistically, that makes the team better. You can't, when the Lakers were losing to the Utah freaking Karl Malone and sometimes John Stockton and stuff. What's the thing? When Malone joined the Lakers, like the Lakers didn't win. Sometimes it is a chemistry type of thing, but most of the cases, it's not.
Getting back to what he's saying, because I want to kind of finish this thing up. I think what he's saying is not necessarily the coach is bad, but the style of play. We even saw, we're throwing the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. What we saw with the Leafs 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago and last year, based on points, they were pretty much the same team. Why was Toronto happy? Why were Maple Leafs fans happy with this year as opposed to last? Not even because they won the lottery, because of the style of play. They were playing the game the right way. They didn't have the talent, but like you said, if you have a better coach, in theory, if you have a better coach, you're not allowing DeMar to shoot 18-foot jump shots. Sit him down saying, hey, when you get the ball there, if your shot's not falling, and even if it is, like you said, you're not going to hit them forever. Pass the ball. Dump it to a post every once in a while. Give someone an opportunity. Give Skol the ball for a post-up. Play the game the right way, getting everybody involved. But they're not doing that. The style of play is not what you would want to win a series. You can't win a series this way. And like you said, the law of averages, as I feel, just fell into the Raptors' lap after, 15 or 19 years. This is their 21st year. So after 20 years of whatever and losing, whether it be Philly or New York, whoever they played, they finally got some breaks. They played Indiana in the first round, a bad team. Miami had some injuries. Did they overachieve? 100%. They got lucky. But like you said, if they have another coach, I feel like they're not getting blown up by 20 points a game because they're playing the game the right way, like Boston does. Yeah, exactly. So even if you are losing, you don't have a flawed way of playing the game. You're getting better quality shots. You're playing better defense. They're not even playing defense.
So you think that they overachieve by reaching where they have now?
I do.
That's a problem right there.
I don't think
because realistically, if you think about it, you look at the Eastern Conference. They were the second seed, and by saying they overachieved, you got to already go.
Okay, hold on. They still overachieved. And you know what? I said at the beginning of the season when we started doing the show, I said, hey, the Raptors, going into the season, we didn't know what they were going to be. But as they started going, I said, hey, you know what? This team played different stuff. They brought in defense first players, Bismack, Joseph. And I said, you know what? Because they played defense of Ron, we had the thing with Ron. I said, he lost faith, and I gained it. I said, this team can go to the Eastern Conference final. I said, that's their plateau. But going into the playoffs, just because they finished second means nothing. It means nothing. Like I said, they went hard in the regular season. They beat teams when other teams weren't really giving the same effort. Not on every night, But after 82 games, you'll win your fair share of games. Going into the season, we all know there's teams better suited for the playoffs. Memphis, for example, if they finish 8th, they beat the Spurs that year when they were a 1.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it doesn't really matter where you finish if you have the right style of play, coaching, players. So even Atlanta, Boston, all these teams, people had more faith in them than the Raptors because the Raptors collapse every year. Not even on personnel, the style of play, the shots they take, the lack of defense up until this year. So to say they overachieved because they finished second, to get back to the point, I think is
but you said based on personnel, the thing is that everyone was expecting the Raptors to collapse again in the playoffs because they had that. And he mentioned, again, not to make it a hockey discussion, he mentioned the Leafs. The Leafs were not in the same kind of boat where the Raptors are, but in certain aspects they were. They had 2 all-stars or whatever you want to call it, and Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf, that were, to me, are complementary players on a decent team. And what do? They're fat contracts, just like Kyle and DeMar.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of them and started to rebuild and from the ground up. And in 2 years, I guarantee you, they will be at a higher plateau than what the Raptors are. I guarantee
just
you.
to finish it up really quick, to be on hockey, but it works in both sports. Let's compare those 2 guys. What's Kessel doing right now? Killing it as a secondary player. What's Phaneuf doing right now on the Senators?
Nothing right now.
But he did a pretty good job not being the top guy.
Yeah, and that's
the
the
same
thing.
thing. If you get Kyle and DeMar and they're your 3rd guys on a team,
They're fine.
and where they're not forced to take
We're
20,
not talking
24
about
shots.
them on our team.
But see, that's the thing. That's why we're making the distinction.
That's what we're
They're
saying.
complementary
So do
pieces
you think
on
they
a
get rid of him?
championship team. Yeah, well,
If we
DeMar's
have
gone.
championship
DeMar can
aspirations,
probably, if DeMar seemingly wants to go back to the Lakers, and I wouldn't bat an eye if DeMar left, to be honest, because I don't think. Yeah,
You shake his
everyone-
hand, you say thank you for
I'll
what
say
you
thank
gave
you
us,
for your
and that's
time,
it.
and at the end of the day, because thanks for making it to the Eastern. I had more
can't
again.
be mad at
We watched some clips upstairs. I had a ton more faith that given another year or two, that Vince Carter led team with McGrady and stuff would have won something.
Yeah.
With some, and because they had it. You just saw it, and even again.
They played right too.
They
knew
played
what to do to
right.
Oakley,
They
knew
had
what
the
to do to
talent.
Gallo,
They
yeah.
had the pieces.
Yeah.
And Kobe's mentioning that they would have given the Lakers a good run had McGrady stayed. Those are the type of guys where you knew that, you know what, sky's the limit for these guys. I don't feel that way about these guys. The plateau's been hit, and it's now, again, if they win I think they'll win a game.
I think tonight's the game.
I think they win a game.
It's tonight. Game
Because
3,
again, there's history. They don't want to be an asterisk where Cleveland wins 3 sweeps. I don't know if that's been. I think it might have been done once or something.
Jordan never did. I know that.
Exactly. So history's a little bit against Cleveland, and the Raptors have played them pretty tough at home, which again they should. They won 2 out of 3 during the regular season.
Oh my gosh, that proves to you how much that doesn't matter because look how
Well,
they
again, but in Cleveland they got smoked in 20 the first game too. So home court means something. It does, but
So
to
we'll see
me,
today. If they lose by 20, you guys.
I don't think they'll lose by 20.
Okay, fine. But if they do? What
I think they'll probably lose.
Okay,
They lose by maybe 6 or
Right, that's
7.
obvious, but I think
6 or
if
7.
they do lose, it's not by more than 10.
Okay.
The last thing I want to do, we'll wrap this up because we've been going on for a while. I want to say about LeBron James. I went to the Cleveland game this year, both of them actually, and the second game when Kyle hit that game winner, that step back game winner, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen LeBron play in person. It looked like he was disinterested,
Yeah, exactly.
he didn't really care, and it really clicked to me after it was game 1, and I keep going back to that dunk when DeMar Carroll had him baseline. He goes by DeMar like he wasn't even there. DeMar grabs his arm to pull him back. He looks back, he cocks it back, you hear the whistle, and he slams it sideways into the thing. And you're like, everybody's looking like, what just happened? What I'm getting at is, LeBron James, everybody says, yeah, we have a shot. The Raptors beat them 2-1 the regular season. This team that Cleveland has right now is on a different level. LeBron picked it up several notches. He's not going in there taking his 3-pointers, whatever. He's attacking these guys because he knows nobody can stop him. There's nobody in the league that can stop LeBron when he's trying at his highest level.
But when you say stop it, you guys can't expect
Contain
a guy
him.
who.
You're not going to contain him.
So do you think he could go off for 40 against Golden State?
Yes.
No, he
Yes.
won't.
Yeah.
He did it last year in the
Yeah,
finals.
last year in the finals.
By himself,
By
without
himself.
the guys that has to.
No, but first of all, he was taking every single shot himself because there was no one there.
But
It didn't matter.
But
You
that
still
makes
If he
stopped
scores 40, they're going to lose by 20.
But
Yeah, that means
he doesn't need to score
But
40.
there was no one else to go to. There's a difference when you have to give the ball to Kyrie and Love and get other people involved. If him by himself, he's taking every shot. I could go and score 40 if I have no teammates.
What's that
That's what
about?
I think it's
DeMar
hard.
was doing that. He was only scoring 10, 15
I think it's harder.
sometimes.
I think
DeMar was doing the same thing,
Yeah.
taking 30, 35 shots.
I think it's
Yeah.
harder because a team knows they only have to stop one guy.
Yeah.
I think it's much harder.
No,
When
that's
you're
why
doing
a lot of guys don't get the All-Star votes when they're on a bad team when they score 40 because they're like, you're scoring 40 because you're on a bad team. And that doesn't make it
But
harder.
here's the thing, like the thing with
playoffs are
LeBron,
different. I'm talking playoffs.
his facilitating skills and how
He's
he's a good passer.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to score 40 to win games. And again, to me, had Kyrie and Love been again, they haven't lost. I don't think they haven't lost in the playoffs when those guys are healthy. I'm pretty sure. I think it's a stat.
No,
To me, right now, they're the favorites. No, I wouldn't even say that the way that they're playing right now.
They're the
favorites. They're the
competing on
favorites.
weaker teams. This Toronto team is the team in their way to make the finals.
Who do
This
you
Toronto
think-
team
so you're
shouldn't even have passed the first round.
You're so golden. Okay, really
it's
quick.
tough on
Is there
both
anybody in
teams,
the East that's going to give Cleveland a run if the Raptors aren't? If Atlanta's in the finals, if the numbers work out differently, if Atlanta's in the East final, is it any different?
No, but I think
Okay, if Boston's there, is it any different? No.
I think Boston. I think
Yeah.
Boston win again.
Last year they got swept too. They got swept when they pulled out his shoulder.
No, but then what's his name took out Crowder when J.R. Smith hit him in the head and he turned back and broke his leg. Okay.
Crowder's getting lover.
Crowder's getting swept.
No, but he's a piece. He's a piece.
He is, but that was a bigger piece.
No, but the way that
He's
they
their
play,
Patrick
you can't
Patterson
take
and
away.
Bianco.
That's like Jenga. You can't take that piece away from Boston and they're done. They don't have no superstars on their team.
Hello, game
So think about it. Like LeBron won 2 games by himself last year, and again, Golden State is better this year. I'll give him that. But man, the Cavaliers are just playing at a crazy level.
I feel Cleveland wins.
We're not winning the final.
No?
But
We're going to do a friendly bet. We'll think of something. We're going to think of something.
One small thing about that I hear everyone saying that is that when LeBron, even though that's a good team and everything, but when LeBron had Wade and Bosh and was in Miami, they lost and he ran away. So why all of a sudden now they're saying because if he's had talent and lost. He had talent and lost to Dallas, so he's lost with great players beside him.
The first Miami team was It was just the 3 guys though.
No, but they were hot. No. That team was. That was
the worst Miami team they had.
That was the worst Miami team, and then they won
everybody
against
started
better
playing for
teams
less.
afterwards.
Do you think the team that they have is like a fair route? Like, do you remember how the trades how Moskoff and J.R. Smith and Sharp and all these people got there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that what you're making, what I'm hearing, and what it seems to be a theme in this league, and even when I see Harden and Howard get together and all that kind of stuff, is like you guys it's like a team has to be stacked. There's not how many players in the league? Like 400. You can't have a team.
It's a team that's stacked. But the ones that work are the ones that are stacked and work. James Harden and Howard don't work. They hate being on the court with each other.
But when someone's missing a player, it's like they have Bosh and Wade. I don't care who. Like just like you said, if Westbrook and Durant came, they'd win and be a favorite. So why is it that they have Wade and Bosh and that's not good enough for anybody? LeBron's supposed to be the best player in the league. You have 2 amazing players.
What's the point?
No, what I'm saying that he's had a good team, and now you guys are saying that was the worst team out of whatever. That was
His
an amazing
first Miami
basketball
team
Chemistry
was the
team.
worst that he's
His
had in the
chemistry
last
team.
5 years.
No,
Yeah.
but they had. I don't even know. It doesn't matter who else their team was. They had Bosh and Wade.
But the chemistry that first year wasn't that great.
So if they lose its chemistry,
Well, how is this relative to right now, though? What are you saying?
no, but you guys were saying that he didn't have Kevin Love and Ivan, or he would have won. He's lost with good players. He stacked up his team with
Well,
Love.
that's what he
He's had
said.
nobody in Cleveland before he made it to the finals with nobody. on
We're
their
not
team.
guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying that the way that they're playing
They're
right now,
playing,
I feel like they can't be stopped.
Oh, okay. Well,
It has nothing about secondary who's on his team.
me-
Like the team is clicking right now.
To me,
no, but I know, but you guys keep saying from last year that you guys could arguably say if they had those players last year,
you don't think they would have won last year, even though he took 2 games by himself?
No.
I
And
think
that's
they
gonna
did
put
well.
Did Golden State not win in 7 or was it 6?
6. They won in 6. Yeah, they won in 6.
So if they beat the Golden State beats them in this series. That
It was
whole
two-
series
it was
was completely
2-1.
Am I correct?
Was that?
Okay, so he won. He took them to 6 games by himself
by
last
himself,
year.
pretty much,
So
yeah.
if Golden State beats them this year, that whole theory makes absolutely no sense.
I
Correct?
would say so, I guess,
Okay,
but I don't think.
okay.
Again, the way that you're just looking at playoffs right now, the Golden State has had some trouble with
They've been
even
exposed.
Portland.
They've been
Like
exposed that time.
Okay,
They're
no,
exposed.
no, all that matters
it's-
is this game 7.
It's
I mean,
a
sorry,
lot
this
closer
finals.
than what people thought it was going to be. Because I think most people thought Golden State was probably going to have San Antonio or OKC to deal with, and Cleveland would be.
No, we're not using
But
that.
Cleveland's been pretty damn good.
They're amazing. They've been hitting.
Yeah,
They're on
their
all
defense has
cylinders.
also been
damn
Yeah,
good.
exactly. So this is my point is that last year they got to game 6 with all those 2 guys, and now they have them. They're healthy. They're slaughtering every team. So according to all this info, they should be winning, right?
They
so when
should
Golden
win,
State
in my
wins,
opinion,
then
yeah.
we're gonna get to
When
another point.
Golden State wins.
When Golden
Okay.
State wins, we're gonna get to my point again.
Okay,
Guys,
and if they
won't
lose?
they won't lose. They won't lose.
Because again, to me,
I'm not even thinking-
Another thing
has
with Golden
posed a lot
State-
of problems for them mismatch wise with Golden State.
Yeah, the
You're
thing.
right. You're right.
Golden
We
State-
can discuss it, but
Look, if
if
LeBron's guarding Draymond, I don't feel like which they'll probably end up having to do. Maybe you do that. Draymond is not he's incredible. He is. But if you have LeBron guarding anybody and LeBron's trying, there's not much really he's doing. Another thing, Golden State, I feel like eventually, and they've shown it at times, playing all those guys, all those minutes they did to get to that 73 wins.
Yeah, 73.
They're going to run out of gas eventually. You can tell some of the guys are a little bit tired. Their rotation is small, getting a little bit tighter. Yeah, they won the last game. Game 1, OKC took them to work, and they exposed me by playing big against that small lineup that you're going to have a bit of a problem. Cleveland can match up with them whichever way they want. If they want to bring Mozgov back into the rotation, they can. If they want to play small, they can do it.
And a motivated LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA.
No, he's not. But I can't argue any of your points. All your points are absolutely correct. But we're going to see when they play each other. I'm not doubting anything you're saying. Okay, but we're going to see. And then all that, if they had and all that stuff is going to go out the window. Because LeBron, to me, he gets praised for how many times he goes to the finals, which he has.
I'm not a LeBron fan, by the way. I like the way he plays. I really like the way he plays, but I'm not a LeBron fan. I just respect him for what he's done. So I'm not jumping on the LeBron bandwagon and trying to do better. It's like whatever you say about the Raptors, I'm not a Raptors fan. I'm going to call it how it is. That's what I'm saying about LeBron.
Yeah, I'm not dissing him. He's made it to the finals. He's stacked a lot of teams, and he's lost. He's been there and lost more than he's won. So I'm not going to call him a winner just because he made it to the finals.
Sure.
So now we're going to see against this Golden State team, right?
A team that Golden State even beats OKC.
No, he had 2 championships, manufactured team, right? It wasn't built, right? Okay,
so the manufactured team, I guess you could say so. Yeah.
So let me ask you one question: what would have been more important to you, one ring in Cleveland, or 3 rings in Miami? What's more important?
Are you talking about like as if in
Toronto? In the NBA and anybody looking who likes basketball, that's
he'd
one ring.
Probably have the one Cleveland.
The one Cleveland is worth 30 in anywhere else.
For him.
No, just for him and the talent in the NBA.
Because Cleveland's terrible everywhere.
Exactly.
The Indians stink. The Browns stink.
And it's where he's from, and also the fact that he's kind of, at least the first time in Cleveland, he actually built the team.
Exactly. And anyone would look like this hometown kid brought this team who never been anything. That's a real king. You come, you conquer, and you win. But you running there to get 2 rings and then coming back and all that stuff, I don't even acknowledge those 2 rings.
That's fair. He's a hired mercenary type of thing. That's fair.
I don't even hire.
Then again, so if Kevin Durant decides that, you know what, I'm going to join Golden State next year, what do you think about Kevin Durant?
No. Kevin Durant, I'm not rating, but the team was already good anyway. I'm not taking away what they do together. But if Durant comes and gets a ring and that's added to his resume, I'm ignoring him completely. They're already good, right? Without Durant, they're winning. So if he comes, I'm not going to say this Golden State team is whatever. I don't like the fact that he'd come. Me as a basketball fan,
would you respect Durant though?
Not at all. And if he wins a ring, I'm not rating his ring. Exactly. Not at all.
All right. Really quickly, do the Raptors? I guess we're not going to say who's going to win because Cleveland's going to win. Do the Raptors win a game in the series?
Yeah, the Raptors won't lose both at home. I think they'll, whether it's game 3 or game 4, they'll take one game. I think eventually they'll have, Kyle will get it together. DeMar will have a good game, and Cleveland will have an off game. Because again, they've been playing so well that it's bound to happen at some point. They'll take a game, but they won't be back for game 6.
I feel like if they do win, and I think that they will, I think it's tonight. Because if they lose today, game 4, I think it's done. Pack it up. Cleveland comes in. They don't want to go back home and waste any time. Let's say they win today in a close game. I really don't know what you're saying.
My prediction isn't just that they're going to lose; it's they're going to lose
so
bad. They're going to lose so bad that I guarantee you that they're going to blow up the team the way you guys have been discussing on the last podcasts, and I don't even think they make the playoffs next year.
You put that on the tape.
Yeah, I put that on the tape. They're going to blow up that team. They're going to get blown out these 2 games. They're going to blow up the team, or Lowry or DeRozan, whatever you said. I don't really think DeRozan's leaving in my heart. I don't know why. I think he likes it, but everyone seems to.
I think it'd be better for the Raptors long term if DeRozan leaves long term.
On that note, I don't think the Lakers really need him. If they can get, I feel like Ingram's better for them anyways. Not to get too out of it, I feel Ingram's better for them because they have so many forwards already. Or so many guards. They need a forward, and Ingram can play the small forward. But all right, we're going to get back. OKC, Golden State. They had 3 days off. They're going to go tomorrow again. Tied at 1 game apiece. We'll talk about that next show. And maybe when we get back, the Raptors, there might only be 3 teams left by the time we get back on this podcast. So stay posted, guys. Good luck to the Raptors. They're going to need it. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.